There's a quiet tension inside most modern organizations. The technology is powerful, the people are capable, and yet progress feels slower than it should. So, what if the real bottleneck isn't the tools, talent, or effort, but the invisible ways teams organize, decide, and get stuck together? And today we are staying right there at the intersection where human systems meet complex technologies. So, hey everyone, welcome back to another powerful episode of Mind Meets Machine, the podcast where we explore how human thinking, leadership, and organizational design shape the way technology actually delivers value. And today I'm joined by a lovely guest. Please welcome Simon Copsey. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me, Abby. Grateful to be here. I love your introduction.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for joining us on Mind Meets Machine. Um, Dear listeners, before we delve deep into our discussion, I'll quickly love to introduce you with Simon. Simon is a delivery and transformation consultant who helps senior leaders unwind the complex cross functional obstacles, not over the years, but in weeks, so happier teams can deliver better software to the customers very sooner. And in this episode, we will explore the modern management inside complex organizations, what really slows teams down, and how the leaders can approach change with more clarity and less friction. So, why do wait? Let's get started. Welcome to the show again.
Thank you very much.
Amazing. So, Simon, before we delve deeper into the discussion, I definitely love to start with one curiosity, which I'm definitely curious. Uh, when leaders come to you feeling frustrated or stuck into something, what's the, what's usually happening beneath the surface that they haven't fully named yet? What do you think?
Perhaps complexity. I know as a manager, when I don't appreciate that the world is complex, I think all problems are simple and therefore solutions are clear. And when the solution doesn't work, I can't work out why. But often the world is more complex and we often treat the wrong problem as opposed to apply the wrong solution. I think that's probably a mismatch. Yeah, treating the wrong problem.
Okay. So, okay. Also when we understand about the frustration and all, I believe a lot of organizations assume that if delivery is slow, people just need to work harder, plan better, adopt new frameworks. So, from what you have seen, what's the misconception hiding inside that assumption?
Well, if we hired great people, then why haven't we already delivered what we expected to?
Mm,
It can't be people not trying hard enough.
mm.
And so then it becomes a question of if it's not the people, then what is it? And quite quickly becomes what's getting in their way. And that's where the interesting kind of bread trail begins. That's where we really get into debugging and understanding our systems and what's getting in the way of stuff. And generally, we find it's quite obvious, but only in hindsight. So, for example, if we have lots of people, but they're all pulling in different directions, then we're not going to make progress. We're not going to make progress against our goal. If we don't know what our goal is, we can't make progress against our goal. So there's a number of, I guess, initially more subtle causes, but in hindsight are quite clear, kind of aha moments. But it rarely ever has to do with the quality of your staff. People do a good job hiring.
So, um, I mean, like, so instead of effort being the issue, I believe it's often the system people are working within the rules, incentives, the handoffs that actually shape the behavior that already reframes possibility or responsibility in a powerful way. What do you say?
Oh, Abby, you finished the thought perfectly. Yes, yes, yeah. You took it to the conclusion. Yes, exactly. And if managers are responsible for the system of work, then it's managers themselves that are responsible for what they're seeing. Similar to me as a parent, when I see my kid doing something I don't want him to do, it's because of me. Like if I see him trying to grab something that's breakable, well, why do I leave it in his reach? He's 1.5. He knows no better. It's not saying that staff don't know any better, not at all. But it's that as parents and managers, we create the conditions in which staff or kids are. and it's managers and parents' responsibility to make that system better. So it's not that, but managers are good. It's just often, I know when I became a manager, I wasn't given training. I assumed it was just an extension of what I already did as a software developer. So no one's good or bad here. No one's not pulling their weight, whether it's managers or staff. It's just that we're often not taught what's needed, necessary to understand where the problems are coming from. But yes, exactly what you said. But the people who create that system are the managers. So we need to help
I
them.
totally agree. I totally agree. Yeah. And like when you zoom out across the leadership, product, engineering, and all, so what is the, I mean, what are the deeper patterns tend to create these cross-functional obstacles in the first place?
Oh, there's so many. Let me try and throw a few out.
Yeah.
So I think the one that we talked about already and we probably coalesced on a number of times
Mm,
is kind of the absence of a goal. We don't know what our goal is as an organization. We can't prioritize. If we can't prioritize, everything's a priority. There's always a lot going on at any one time. All the teams are working to 100%. Queues grow to infinity. Work gets stuck between the team rather than completed. Feedback slows down. We don't know whether we're delivering the right thing to customers because we don't find out until too late. Staff don't have time to learn, they leave. So yeah, so not having a clear goal leads to a lot of symptoms. A clear goal across teams, across the organization, ideally. Trying to think of another one. I think that's the one I've seen most recently, quite frequently. Through no one's fault, it's not obvious except in hindsight. I think another one is what I said about complexity. Managers and staff, and I was guilty of this as a manager. Managers
mm,
assume that um, if they realize they're there to solve problems for their staff, they maybe do it in isolation. But staff really are the ones that are the sharp end of the problems. They understand what's getting in their way,
mm,
and there's a temptation for management to try and, with best intention, solve those problems. Say, oh, let's adopt Scrum, let's do this, let's do that to make things better, but without really understanding the problem. But really, staff can't solve those problems in isolation because they can't see what the managers see, and managers can't solve the problems in isolation because they don't know the problems that the staff are feeling and actually, fully appreciate them. So it's only when staff and managers come together can they improve the conditions of work. So I think often there's a temptation to solve things in isolation, which won't work. Treating symptoms without fully understanding the cause. I could go on, but what's coming up for you? What's coming up for you? Like, I'll ramble on forever, Abby.
yeah, exactly. So, I mean, what I'm hearing is that complexity compounds when decisions, feedback, accountability get fragmented. And the challenge is not the intelligence, but obviously it's coherence, right? So, for the listeners inside the organizations right now, what does this look like day to day? I mean, how do these individual or kind of, I would say, invisible obstacles show up in the meetings, roadmaps, or the team morale? Like, what do you have to say on this?
Yeah, that's a good one. And sorry, you named something really good in your previous summary there, Abby, around
Mhm.
accountability. Often there's a temptation to specialize people. Work comes in and it's complex, but then we specialize people into
Yeah.
disciplines like Java, AI, blah, 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 blah. And that means we need loads of different teams to work together to solve a problem, which we create these interdependencies, which then become
Mm,
hard to manage. So the accountability is kind of trying to break things into smaller pieces, be it organizations or specialities.
mm,
Tempting, but can be dangerous. So, what are the symptoms that we might see? I guess as a member of a team, we might see. I mean, it can come in all shapes and forms. I guess in its most basic form, it's us getting further away from the goal as an organization. But we may see that
okay.
as staff quitting. We may see that as delivery slowing. We may see that as technical debt increasing, which I guess is a leading measure of delivery slowing. It could be costs increasing, which is a very vague statement because costs come from everywhere, but we might see costs increasing. We may see indecision. We may see uh, growing impatience. So, for example, if we're an IT department and we serve other areas of the organization, our customers may become impatient.
Mm,
And that can lead to compounding effects where they then threaten to maybe not give us enough budget and reduce our budget. And that means that we then have to push harder. And then us pushing harder actually makes things worse. It means more attrition, etc. So yeah, dissatisfied customers, reduced outcomes, quality of our products, what we're creating, disgruntled shareholders if we have shareholders, marketing or kind of leading initiatives like marketing R&D being cut, costs being cut in the forms of travel, hiring freezes, all these focus on costs as opposed to profits. All these things indicate maybe people trying to guess how to solve problems. as opposed to knowing
Mm.
where they actually come from. In between teams, work piling up, priorities not being clear, there being many priorities at any one time because of spreading our bets.
Yeah,
These are all, yeah, these are all things. It varies, but those kind of things, maybe things that just feel off. At the end of the day, just people not enjoying their work because so much is getting in their way. I guess that's the basic.
very true. Very, very true. Yeah. And, you know, like that sense of constant busyness without real progress is something, I mean, so many teams normalize until, I'd say, burnout sets in, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, please.
Oh, no, I was just saying your point is beautiful in that burnout often comes from not having a clear purpose. And busyness is the opposite of progress. Busyness is
Correct.
doing stuff, but progress is making progress, or productivity is
Mm,
progress against the goal. Busyness is not having a goal and not knowing what to do and just doing anything we can because we don't know
yeah,
where we're trying to go. And if we don't know where we're trying to go, we can't question what we're doing. If we can't question or know the value of what we're doing, we burn out because we're like, why am I doing this? So sorry. Everything you said there was just so coherent. It's lovely.
very true. Very true. So, I mean, when leaders realize the issue is systematic and not personal, where do you usually invite them to start with? I mean, if you share.
I guess it's assembling the puzzle. So first of all, we need to know what's wrong. We need to know what's right first. So we need a clear goal. We need to understand what's necessary to achieve the goal. What are the conditions that we need? Like first of all, we need a secure and satisfying workplace because if we don't, our staff will leave. Right, that's a very basic one. But there's other things that we need to make progress against our goal. But then once you know what right looks like, we can look for the wrongs. So we look at what of those things that we need, that we believe we need as leaders to achieve our goal aren't in place, and that's where we can go talking to everyone we can to get the piece of the puzzle to understand. Hey, is this thing in place or not? Why isn't it true? Where's it coming from? What's leading it to not be true? Why are staff not satisfied or not feeling secure? And then that helps us understand the relevant symptoms that we then need to kind of get to the bottom of and where they're coming from. So generally, yeah, it's working out. Firstly, what does right look like? And then we know what wrong looks like. Then we go looking for wrong and working out where wrong is coming from, if this analogy makes any sense, like a doctor. And then we can work out where to focus our efforts because wrongness, many different wrongs tend to come from the same underlying cause. Many symptoms tend to come from the same underlying cause. So if we can work out what are the things that need to be in place aren't in place and why, generally we'll find the whys have the same answer. That there's just like with ailments, many symptoms come from just one underlying cause.
Exactly. And I really appreciate that emphasis on experimentation and also learning, treating management more like a scientific process than a set of fixed answers. Um, that's lovely. And for the readers, I would say the readers basically like like the change really moves in a straight line. Like when organization hit the resistance, relapse into the old habits, or feel progress slowing again, I want to understand like how can leaders respond without slipping back into the control or the blame?
Yeah, I guess it depends. I guess it depends. There may be many reasons why we slip back.
Okay.
Maybe that the change that we implemented wasn't an improvement. And so we should be slipping back. Often I understand from Gold Rat, as I always say, anything that sounds good that I say comes from other people like Gold Rat, Akov, Deming, Drucker. Anything bad I say is from me. But I think what I understand from Gold Rat is that people don't avoid change. There may be many different reasons why we slip back, but assuming that in the first instance, people are rejecting a change, it's because it's not an improvement.
Mhm.
People don't reject change. People like I got married, I've had a kid. Those are pretty big, scary changes, but I wanted them. And people welcome change as long as it's an improvement. The other part of that's fair process where people want to be part of the change. They want to be involved. They want to contribute. They want their voice to be heard. So as long as we involve, so if people are rejecting change or it's slipping back, one reason might be that we've actually got it either doing the wrong change or going through the wrong process to involve people in the change, and we've actually made things worse. So I'd say it's kind of go alone, go fast, go together, go far. So it's the process that becomes before the rejection and before the rollback. That's the interesting piece and probably the piece to be understood.
Correct. Yes, I mean that patience with the system and with people feels essential, and it's a sustainable change seems to require curiosity more than certainty. So, for the leaders, right, who are listening, who feel stuck between pressure from above and frustration from their teams, what would be the one question they could sit with this week that might open up a different way forward?
Yeah, absolutely. And sorry, to the point you said before, the summary was really lovely, and that systems are people. So that's why we have
Exactly.
to work with them for change. Yeah. What's the one question? What might be another explanation for what I'm seeing? And the reason I say that is with fundamental attribution error, it's very easy when I was a manager, when I was seeing people behaving not in the way that I wanted, to go, oh, they're just bad people. That's them. As opposed to saying, well, they just don't care as much as me. As opposed to me saying, what might be another explanation for the reason they're behaving they are? And that started to get me curious and helped me realize that I'm attributing, there we go, attributing the most
Okay.
negative possible explanation for what I'm seeing. But there's probably other explanations that may be true. And given these are good people, I know they're good people, is
Hmm.
probably a much better explanation than I'm assigning to them. And through that curiosity, through that finding out, I start to understand another half of the story that I didn't understand before and actually realize the problem is coming from somewhere I didn't realize. And often, as a manager, it was me through incentives that I may have set incorrectly. I think Peter Senge says that, I can't remember his exact quote, but he basically says, when the creators of systems realize that they are the ones that hold the power to change the system and are to blame for when it doesn't work, he says it much better than me. It's very bittersweet. It's scary to say, oh, nuts, as a manager, I created all these problems. It's not them, it's me. But it's also very empowering saying, well, I can fix it now. Um, so yeah. So when you don't see something expected, what are the other possible explanations other one that you've already thought of, which is probably quite negative?
Exactly. Ooh, that's really amazing. And also, like when organizations struggle, it's really because people don't care. I mean, it's because the system hasn't been designed to let care turn into the progress, right? So
Yeah. Your system's perfectly designed for the results it gets.
exactly. So Simon, like I mean, for the listeners who want to explore your thinking, learn from your writing, or connect with your work, then where's the best place to find you?
That's a very kind question, Abby. You can find me at curiouscoffee.club, not .com. I should have gone for .com, but .club. Or you can find me on LinkedIn, and I love to learn from others, so come say hello.
Amazing. I'll put all the details and the links into the show notes to your listeners for your easy reference. And by the way, for me, our website is also .club. So do not forget to hit podhub.club. Yeah. So yes, it's really amazing. And thank you so much for joining us on Mind Meets Machine. And I have to say one thing that if today's conversation actually sparked reflection about how your organization really works beneath the surface, then I invite you to sit with your insight and notice like what small experiments might be possible, right? So until next time, this is your host Avik and this is Mind Meets Machine. Stay curious about both the mind and machines shaping your world. Thank you so much.